Hey guys, I am your tour guide Kalltorak. This is my Cursader Bloodmage for endgame. This build is so much fun with one of the best AoE clears and single targets I've played with yet. It's also really good on controller since the auto aim for the curse with its increased area of effect just clears everything for you. Our main damage skill for this build is Despair. And what's core to this build is Dodre's Undoing. It is a lineage support gem that supports curses. Dodre's Undoing makes your curses explode for chaos damage. When combined with Toll's Stillness, our curse is hitting very hard, but it's also freezing. Freeze buildup is interesting because it not only contributes to cast on Elemental Ailment, but it also contributes to cast on crit. So your curse spam is feeding both of those spirit gems very easily. Since we are playing a Cursader Bloodmage, I wanted to fully lean into curses. So in cast on Elemental Ailment, I am running Enfeeble, Elemental Weakness, Vulnerability combined with Aziri's Allure. This removes the limit for curses socketed into the skill, but it also reflects these curses back at you. When reaching 100% reduced magnitude of curses, they literally have no effect on you, meaning curses on maps are free. Stacking this with Warding Fetish also ends up being a nice DPS boost since it increases our damage per curse on us. So, now curses buff us. Pretty fun. Add on Blasphemy with Temporal Chains and we really are a curse god. In cast on critical hit, I am using Comet, and yeah, as you can see, the damage is insane. In a fully min-max setup, Comet will be hitting for over 1 million and doing easily 10 million plus DPS. In all the clips you're seeing, I'm running a Scepter for more spirit gems, but if you were to use a cold skills wand, your damage would spike through the roof. The curse spam combined with soul offering leads to some pretty insane boss kills. Add on Windscream and yeah, you get instant detonate curses. Now there are some downsides to this build. From my understanding, rarity on gear does not work with Dodre's Undoing. So stacking a bunch of rarity on your gear really isn't worth it for this build sadly. Second, because I'm using Windscream, our move speed is limited. Don't worry though, I have a variant tab for max DPS and max move speed that doesn't use these boots. You will need to get a Mega with Impending Doom and a few Sapphires with faster curse activation. This will increase the cost of the build, but you can min-max move speed and damage very easily here. So let's talk about the cost of the build. Overall, the gear I am wearing is very cheap, and cold skill wands are actually on the cheaper end at the moment. However, the cost of this build is coming from Adeli's Bloodletting, Rakiata's Flow, and the Undying Hate of Tekrod. These three items will cost you over 40 Divine right now. All of the other pieces I'm using are very cheap, but there is a serious cost behind these lineage support gems. Outside of that and the rarity problem though, this build is amazing. I am very tanky right now, and if you want to play the max DPS and move speed setup, it will just be an absolute breeze for you. Okay, let's dive into the overview. Okay, let's dive into the overview. I'm still very early on in this build. It might change a lot. Shout out to Proper Panda. He did a build very similar to how I was playing it, and like as I was like playing it and stuff, anytime like I was like, oh, I wonder if this works, let's try that. Like he would just be like, hey, I've tried this before. This is my results for it before you go into it, and like it was able to save me a lot of currency as we like processed out this build. So shout out to Proper Panda for it. I am playing the Scepter setup because I like my self-cursing setup. The wand setup I have not played yet, but if you look at the variant tab for it, that's essentially what his setup is right now. He's doing an insane amount of DPS with this build. I will probably link his PoE ninja down below as well so you could check it out. I am leaning into the self-curse setup. In terms of DPS, it is just worse than the other setup. Like you're not using the cold wand, despite, you know, the fact that I'm using like Archmage and stuff and like doing everything I can to scale this damage. The self-curse setup does not reach as much damage because you can only get 3 curses on yourself right now. Whenever we have Overabundance 3, if we could get to 6 to 8 curses on ourselves, that would really make Warding Fetish a lot better. But right now, with only being able to get 3 curses on yourself, and sometimes it's a bit inconsistent with getting curses on yourself, it's not as much DPS per second. And then, of course, with the current setup of how I have it set up, you're just lacking move speed with the wind scream. So the variant for the wand tab is going to be if you have a super budget and you just want to be able to zoom through maps and you want the best single target DPS as possible. You don't really care about the theme and the curse reflecting at you being immune aspect of it. Play the wand tab. The Scepter tab is just for the immunity curses. It's fun while mapping because you don't have to worry about any map modifiers that have like temporal change and stuff. So it's just like, it's really fun from that aspect. But if you're just someone who wants to zoom, look at the wand tab variant. And I promise you it works. It's better DPS than my current setup. And it's going to have more move speed. So yeah, the build is pretty cool so far. I mean, as you can see here, the visual clarity is pretty insane. Right now, you have to get ramped up, as you can see here. Your first several casts take most of your life, but as Tech Rods gets going and your life recovery improves and improves, you're able to really just spam the crap out of this spell. And eventually, your Tech Rods gets high enough to where you're at full life recovery. Now, you never want to be just like holding left click like this. You want to do like the stutter movement stuff where you're like, you click and let go, right? Because it maintains a lot of your mobility. When you hold left click, you're just going to move like this. So you want to do the stutter cast so you're moving a lot. And as you can see here, when we only have 2 skills on our bar, it's just Despair and Soul Offering. And Soul Offering, when we cast that, look what happens. The cast speed just goes through the roof. We're also getting more damage as well. So yeah, it is a super potent combination. And when you're running around on the map, you're just like clicking at the end of your screen here. So as you can see here, if I'm like going this way, I'm going to be clicking over here. And I'm clearing off a screen essentially with the Despair. It just covers so much radius. It's a super safe build. Almost everything always just dies to the Despair, which is really, really fun. And I know it feels like there should be maybe more gameplay explanation there, but that is really it. You're really just spamming curses, and the curse spam is what leads to just like all of your damage. Again, we'll just talk about it now. So let's go to Despair. So you can use technically any curse as you want as your main curse, but you want to use Despair because you're going to be inflicting the negative chaos res on your enemies, and Dodre's Undoing is chaos damage. So you want to use Despair just because it's going to be buffing Dodre's Undoing to help kill the mobs. Again, combined with Toll Stiffness, you gain 20% of cold damage as extra chaos damage. This is super important because, like I said in the intro, freeze buildup contributes not only to cast on elemental ailment, but cast on critical hit. I guess the ailments applying themselves can crits or something. I have no idea what's going on in the code, but I have tested extensively with the freeze buildup chain, like just adding different freeze buildup stuff, and you notice it quite a lot. So it does help. And of course, freezing stuff is a defensive layer. As you can see on bosses a lot, they get frozen pretty fast. So it's super nice. So in Despair, we have Life Tap, Dodre's Undoing, Toll Stillness, Ritualistic Curse. You will take out Ritualistic Curse in the wand setup. You're going to put Magnified Effect in here instead in the wand setup. You will not want the Skills Erupt after more delay on the wand setup. This is okay in our setup because we're running Wind Scream, because we have no activation delay on curses. So just keep that in mind. And then Spell Cascade. The Spell Cascade is what making you see it cake the screen. And then in Soul Offering, we have Brutus Brain, Dance Macabre, Prolonged Duration, Kulamek's Dominion, and Sacrificial Offering. It's just what makes their buffs better. It's what's giving us the fast cast speed. You just get the 2 Skeletal Clerics, and then whenever you're at a boss, I really only use it on bosses. Sometimes I'll use it at an Abyss, but I don't really need it for Abyss. But it's what makes everything just insane. Your boss damage gets cracked when you're doing this. So you really only do this on bosses. In cast on Elemental Ailment, I am currently running Enfeeble, Vulnerability, Elemental Weakness, Life Tap, and Atziri's Allure. Again, Atziri's Allure is what reflects them back at me. I have 100% reduced magnitude on curses. I have a Kratian's Rune of Warding in my body armor for 40%, and then these nodes right here, 15, 15, and 30. That's the other 60%. So with these nodes and that body armor rune, we have 100% reduced effect on curses on ourselves. So we're constantly cursing ourselves, which is giving us more damage. We get cursed from the map from some time, which will give us more damage. but we're immune to curses. But we're also, of course, cursing everything we fight. So the bosses we're fighting, they're getting hit with Enfeeble, Vulnerability, Elemental Weakness. Now, there is something I want to talk about with Elemental Weakness. Someone might need to confirm this with me in the chat, and this might be another reason to not play the Reflect Curse version. Someone said that Elemental Weakness might be screwing over Rockiata's flow a little bit by if we're reducing the elemental res on the boss, and then Rockiata's flow is inverting that. This combination might ultimately be ending up like kind of scuffing my damage a little bit. Obviously, you can see from the clips the damage is great. But I just want to throw that out there. Maybe someone in the comment has specifically tested like if Elemental Weakness is bodying Rockiata's flow. If that is the case, you might want to completely drop Elemental Weakness, or get a lower tiered one in here if you can. I know you have to have like, I think of a level 16 or something for bosses, I forget, but this is just something I have not fully tested yet. It is possible that this combination of like cursing the boss with Elemental Weakness with Rockiata's flow is goofing the damage. I can't, I mean, the damage is clearly good. I'm killing most bosses in 4 to 5 seconds, so yeah, this might need to be dropped, though. So someone in the comments let me know, and if that is the case, we might either completely drop the curse setup, the Reflect Curse setup, or we just remove Elemental Weakness from this. But I just, want to say that, like, while the theme of it is cool, where you're immune to curses and stuff, I'm really leaning into that curse, the Cursader, Bloodmage type thing. You're really only getting 90% increased damage from having all 3 curses on you, which the wand with +6 cold skills, or +7 cold skills actually, potentially, or even more, would give you so much more damage than this. You're not always going to have the 3 curses on you, and if the cursing of the boss with Elemental Weakness is hurting Rockiata's flow, and we can't use that, that goes from 90% increased damage to 60% increased damage. So, while I'm trying to make this Cursader theme work, it is possible that it is actually just completely scuffing the damage. So that might maybe to test it, and then you might just completely see that the curse reflect style gets changed. Like at that point, maybe Rockiata's need to be replaced with something else. I doubt it. Like Rockiata's is really good, but yeah, just something to think about. I don't actually know. In Cast on Crit, we have Comet, Efficiency 2, Rockiata's Flow, Idolized Bloodletting, and Embitter. Lots of damage from this. In the peak DPS build that Panda is running, which I think I said this at the beginning of the video, because in case I didn't, shout out to Panda for helping me out with this setup and stuff, but his PoE Ninja will be linked below. He is currently hitting for 1 million damage with Comet, and as you can see in the videos, you're hitting with like so many Comets per second, so you're talking pretty insane DPS. Skeletal Cleric. We have Meat Shield 2, Elemental Army, Minion Mastery, Tech Rod's Revenge, and Essence Harvest. In Blasphemy, I have Temporal Chains, Expanse, Ritualistic Curse, Magnified Area 2, and Slow Potency. And then an Archmage. We have Archmage, so yeah, that's just increased a little bit of extra damage, since we had just so much extra spirit. Okay, so yeah, one thing I want to talk about before we dive into the gear is I am probably getting rid of this Controlled Metamorphosis. Right now I have this Controlled Metamorphosis where I'm scooping Shredding Force, Mind Over Matter, and Storm Charged. That might be getting dropped. And I might just put a Heart of the Well here, and then just go and scoop Mind Over Matter as a defensive layer. We'll see what happens. But I do just wanted to point that out. But that's the support gems. At one point, I was doing a completely different style with like Eldritch Battery, and I was doing like mana conversions, and that's why I had mana remnants, but I'm no longer doing that style. Okay, so let's talk about the gear. So at Zeri's Acuity, we are playing Energy Shield Leech, and we have Zealot's Oath. So instead of having to invest into leech stuff where you have to get like a bunch of instant leech items on gear, like for 20%, get fast metabolism and stuff, we are just playing at Zeri's Acuity. I am so damn tanky. Since I swapped the Energy Shield Leech, I haven't died. When I was playing the Mind Over Matter style with Veil of Night, I was dying to elemental damage every once in a while, but at this point, I basically don't die, and my Energy Shield is super low. If you look at Panda's PoE Ninja, he's up to like 7,000 energy shield with 3,600 life. He is much harder to kill. So even on my scuff setup, though, on my cheap budget setup, this gear is what's cheap. The support gems are expensive. I'm doing pretty okay. So its series is used for the instant leech crit and extra critical hit chance, since we are playing a crit build. And of course, we're playing a Bloodmage, so Wrathpith Globe is just like core to almost every Bloodmage build out there. So none of these two should be surprising to you. Okay, in my Scepter, I have maximum mana, increased spirit. You really, and I think you can get strength or int on it as well. I bought a very cheap one because I'm broke. I'm just super broke. But you really just want increased mana, spirit, and then intellect probably, because intellect is how we want to intellect stacked for Dodre's Undoing, because it scales off of your intellect. Explosion deals base chaos damage equal to 200% of your intelligence. So you want to get as much intellect as possible, as you can see from a lot of my gear. So if you're going to be running the Scepter, get one with intellect on it too. On your helmet, you want your just stats rezzed out, as much energy shield as possible. You want maximum life, intelligent, and get some reses on it. Inside of your socket, you can put Talisman of Egrin, which enemies you curse take 5% increased damage. For your amulet, you want spirit, maximum mana, spell skills, percent increased intellect. Is very important, because again, a lot of our damage is coming from int. If you can get like 600-700 intellect, you're going to be doing so much damage with Dodre's. Right now I have Sacrificial Blood anointed, so it increases the life cost of Comet, so Comet is doing more damage from Adeli's Bloodletting. Sacrificial Blood also increases the spell damage from spells that cost life. I am not sure if this is the best anoint for this. I see a lot of Blood Mages running Barbaric Strength, but this has increased mana cost of skills, and all my skills are costing life, and when I've tested increased mana cost of skills with my life cost skills, I don't see the cost go up at all. So I'm not sure. I think maybe they're just running Barbaric Strength for the 45% critical damage bonus and the 10 strength, but I don't know if the mana cost from this would actually be buffing like Adeli's Bloodletting skills and life tap skills. I could be wrong. I have Sacrificial Blood anointed. This is a question for Blood Mages out there playing similar styles. Is Sacrificial Blood more DPS for Adeli's Bloodletting, since it's getting us percent increased spell damage and then percent increased life cost versus Barbaric Strength? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Crit damage bonus is pretty huge. 10 strength is also nice. I don't know what's going to necessarily be better there. But you mainly want to make sure you get percent increased intellect on your amulet. Of course, with the spell skills and the spirit. And no matter what style you're playing, whether you're playing the wand style or my style, you're going to want spirit on your amulet 100%. Now, you don't necessarily need spirit. You don't need spirit on your body armor if you're playing the wand style. You need spirit on your body armor if you're playing the curse style. So you want to get int, max life, res, and energy shield as much as possible. And then one of the sockets, you need a Cratian's Rune of Warding for the reduced effective curses. Okay, on your rings, you're going to want intellect, you're going to want cast speed, and you're going to want maximum life. Outside of that, you're going to want resistances and attributes. Your rings aren't super important. You could get percent increased skull damage or chaos damage if you wanted. I mean, your rings are obviously important, I shouldn't say that. But for your rings, the main thing you want to get is, in my opinion, cast speed and attributes. Get as much int, get as much strength, get as much cast speed, maximum life as possible. I'm on a very cheap budget right now, so as you can see here, these are like kind of interesting rolls. This one doesn't even have life on it. It's got max mana. All of my gear that I'm wearing right now is budget. So, but yeah, you want to just increase your stats. Get your int up as high as possible, and get your max life as high as possible as you can as well with energy shield. But yeah, onto the belt. On the belt, I have max life, max mana, strength, and resistances. You want to get percent flask recovery applied instantly. That would be what I would get. No, sorry. You want, I need to replace this belt. You want to get percent increased life regeneration rate during effect of the life flask. It's not the instant one. I've got the I confused myself because I was thinking I needed to change my belt. You want the it's increased life regeneration rate during effect of any life flask. Life regeneration rate, it will get this a lot better on your tech rods, and you can also get life regeneration rate as an enchant on rings. Just so a heads up. So life regeneration rate just makes this initial part start scaling faster, and then of course when you get hit by something, if you have 3,000 life regeneration rate and it does go through your life, like you instantly heal to full. So life regeneration rate is just really good. And then of course you just get your resistances as high as you can. And then on the boots, with these boots, I am currently running just the high cast speed as I can with as high as move speed as I can. It's only got one socket. I put a Rune of Grace in it. Now, you can get rare boots if you're not playing this style. I have this set up for the wand style. If you're not running these boots, you have to get rare jewels, sapphires, that have, I think it's 14 to 15% faster activation of curses. You're going to want 2 to 3 of them. And then you're also going to want to get a Megalomaniac with Impending Doom. So if you can get a few blue jewels, sapphires with faster curse activation, and then Impending Doom, that will make up for the curse delay that these boots have. Now, something about how you can't get 100% actual faster curse activation. You can get to like 99%. So don't aim for 100%. I haven't set it up yet because I am on a budget. But if you do not like the move speed that I am moving at, you can get rid of these boots. It just requires you swapping some jewels around and getting a different Megalomaniac. But I think that might be a preferred, honestly. These boots are awesome. I love the instant detonation. They're hard to get rid of right now. But we're talking about move speed, guys. We're talking about move speed. So ignore my charms right now. I've got a freeze and a Sanguis Heroum charge in here right now. You do want Follow the Axe, of course. And then your other 2 charms, if you look at the Mobilitics, you're going to want Nascent's Hope for the energy shield recharge, and then you want Rite of Passage for the Spirit of the Primate. So yeah, make sure you get those. And that is the gear. Oh, you want to change your flask. I just don't have one. There is the Orlos Resolve. It's like the expensive flask that people farm for off of the Expedition boss. You'll want to get one of those. Let's look at the passive tree. So the first thing I want to talk about is, and again, I'm going to have a variant for the spell tab, the wand tab, but I'm not going over it here. So the first thing I want to talk about is tech rods. This is required for the build. It is, I think, like 8-9 divine right now. You're going to want to put it right here, and you're going to want to put it on Chaos Inoculation. The Mobilitics doesn't show that this is changing the Sacrifice of Blood. It looks like I have Chaos Inoculation, but I don't. Tech Rod transforms Chaos Inoculation into Sacrifice of Blood. So get an Undying Hate of Tech Rod, and then you can get one that has small passive and radius have like +8 intelligence on them. So you just get a little bit of extra int from here and here, but it's not required. In terms of the Bloodmage's passives, we get Sunder the Flesh. This is the base critical hit chance for spells. This is how Dodraze is getting so much crit, or our curses are getting so much crit. I mean, you see a lot of people playing curse styles on liches, which makes sense because you have a lot of lich curse stuff with lich, but Sunder the Flesh is what's enabling cast on crit. We got spell damage Leech's Life, which is combined with Zealot's Oath. So we got the Energy Shield Leech, and then we just have Crimson Power and Grasping Wounds for defensives, which is, you know, why we play Bloodmage. One of the reasons. Okay, pathing up here, you get Zone of Control for increased magnitude of curses, as well as increased area of effect. We get some crit hit chance stuff here. Whispers of Doom for the additional curse. This is so we can get Despair and Temporal Chains. These curses are not affected by the limit because of its Zeri's Allure, but Blasphemy Temporal Chains is. So you have to have Whispers of Doom. Pathing over here, we get the Intelligence and Patient Barrier. Thin Ice is for freeze buildup and damage with hits against frozen enemies. This is for bossing. This helps a lot for our damage. Critical hit, Careful Assassins for crit stuff. Evocational Practitioner for more crit stuff for triggered skills. This whole crit area, which is pretty common in these kind of builds. Pathing over here, you're going to want a Timeless Jewel for notable passives. I've got one for notables that is a critical hit chance for spells, cast speed for spells, and increased area of effect. This can be changed to a lot of stuff. I got this one on a budget. There is a time loss jewel modifier that is also percent increased area of effect for curses. So you want to get one of these that is 10% increased area of effect for curses, 3% increased area of effect of skills, and then crit damage bonus and crit hit for spells. I just don't have the one that I wanted. But look at the mobilytics, get one with increased area of effect and increased area of effect for curses on notable skills. In this spot right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 notable passives in range of this one spot right here that we are using. So with the 10% increased radius effect on curses and the 3% increased area effect, that is 65% increased area effect for your curses, which I am missing 50% of that. So if you see the area effect of my curses, well, imagine if they are 50% increased bigger from that time loss jewel. So get one of those. And then you path down here for Unhindered. Now, in this area, we are taking Chakra of Life, both the crit stuff, Dizzying Hits, and Stupefy. These are a nice damage increase for bosses, but they're mainly to farm the time loss passes. And the reason we're able to get these nodes is because we have a From Nothing for Walker of the Wilds, which I guess I forgot to talk about in the cost of this build. This is not required to get this build started. I played all yesterday just fine without this, but this was my next big purchase. This is like an 8 divine item, and it just lets you get these passives in this area. Pathing this way, we get Enhanced Barrier. Again, we're playing the Warding Fetish style, so the Self-Curse style. Right now, again, I have a Controlled Metamorphosis that let me get Storm Charged, Mind Over Matter, and Shredding Force. At one point, I was also using it for Sanguinatic Rituals and Touch of the Arcane and getting Arcane Surge on critical hit. I'm no longer playing that style. As I am probably going to be dropping this, and then I might path to Mind Over Matter just to take it as a defensive layer. We might not. Pathing down here, you get Zealot's Oath, and then you get these 2 jewels. And that's the passage tree. It is pretty simple. It is expensive to get online, but it is a lot of fun, and it can be optimized a lot more. The damage, it gets insane. You're talking about instantly deleting Uber Arbiter. I'm not there yet, but over the next few days, I'm going to be pushing towards that, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if you guys have any feedback or questions on the build, leave them down in the comments below. I've been playing this build for about 24 hours, so yeah, there's a lot this can be min-maxed in many different ways. But if you're new here, please like and subscribe. Apologies to Darth Microtransaction. We once again ran out of time. Take care, boys. See you in the next one.